So we're officially in 2022. That means that it's time to do an annual review of your finances. So essentially what we want to do is have a look at everything that happened in 2021 financially, and then have a think about what's going to happen in 2022. That's going to be your financial wins, your goals, your budgeting, etc, etc. And I'm going to break it down in this video step by step how to do a review and a plan for 2022. So that rhymed. Let's crack on. Hi everybody, my name is Laura Ann Moore and I post videos all about money, mindset and motivation to help you basically get financially confident and live in your best lives. First of all, I feel like we need to give ourselves a round of applause, really, a little pat on the back, a little well done me, for making it through 2021, because I think that we rolled over the new year from 2020 to 2021 thinking that on the 1st of January coronavirus was gonna go away, and it didn't. And I think for a lot of people, I know a lot of friends, a lot of people that I speak to in my community definitely found 2021 harder or just as hard as 2020 for loads of reasons, personally, financially, emotionally, physically, everything. It was tough. So first of all, give yourselves a little clap. Sounds sarcastic, but I genuinely mean it. So first things first, we're gonna review last year. So we're gonna have a think back about 2021 and figure out what went well financially and what didn't. And we're not judging, this is a no judgment zone. There's no point shaming yourself for anything you feel didn't go wrong. It's more for reflection so that you can do better and avoid maybe making some mistakes that you might have made last year. No biggie. So things, financial wins might be, did you get a promotion or a pay rise? Did you manage to save more than you thought? Or did you start investing? Or, you know, what other kinds of things that when you look back on 2021, you can go, yeah, financially that went well. Make a list of them. Doesn't matter if there's one thing on the list. It could be I learned how to invest, not even that you implemented it, but try and tease out the things that you see as financial wins. And then you want to have a think about all the things that maybe didn't go as well or that were unexpected that happened financially, which could be you know, maybe you lost your job or had to drop from full-time to part-time, or, you know, maybe for some reason your income decreased. Maybe you didn't save as much as you would have liked, or maybe you were always going over budget. Have a little think about the things that weren't great and you'd either want to improve on or need to kind of have a think about why they happened. Some of them probably going to be out of your control. So for example, let's say you lost your job, probably not something within your control. Let's say you look back over your spending and you go, I really didn't need to spend that much on said things. Probably more so in your control. So it's just about, do you know what? It's just about becoming aware of how last year went. There is no right or wrong. And what we want to do is use this reflection as a source of motivation as opposed to a source of shame. Then hopefully what you'll do is you'll have a list of financial wins, a list of maybe financial not wins, losses, and you just want to look at them objectively and go, okay, how can I make more of the good stuff happen and less of the bad stuff happen? And I know it's not as simple as that, but it gives us this initial overview of maybe how our finances are going and what we can do better for the future. Next up, we're going to think about our financial goals, those money goals. Now, you might have or not have set yourself money goals at the start of last year. If you did, great, and you can take a look back over your year and go, did I hit the goals that I set out to hit? If yes, happy days. If no, figure out why. So let's say you put a goal to save £5,000 by the end of last year, and let's say you hit £3,000. What were the things that stopped you? Was it big things in and out of your control, or was it an oversight, you were being over ambitious? You know, like, just ask yourself those questions. And if you didn't set yourself any goals for last year, don't worry about it, because we're in a new year and it's time to set yourself some money goals. And this brings us on to goals for 2022. Now personally, I love goal setting. Even when the goals seem quite scary or overwhelming or like they're really far away, I find it really motivating to set myself goals. Now, yes, we could go down and start talking about the old hedonic treadmill of constantly wanting more and never being satisfied with what you've got. But goal setting can be a great way to keep you on track, to keep you motivated, and to working towards the things that you need. Now, I have done a whole nother video on setting financial goals, which I'll put in the show notes, but I think they're great. So have a think about the things that you want to work towards in 2022. And just for a sort of brief overview, you can set goals based on value. So I want to save X amount by this date. Education-based goals, I want to learn about X, Y, and Z. Or habit-based goals, so I want to check my bank account every day, for example. So yeah, have a think about what it is that you want to start working towards this year. Next, what you want to do is you want to evaluate your debt. So if you have any debt, if you don't, great, you can skip past this bit. If you do, not a problem at all, but you want to create a plan to pay it back. A personalised debt management plan, basically. So just figuring out who you owe money to, how much you owe, across what cards and loans or overdraft, all of that, and how much essentially you can afford to pay back every month, and then at what point that will be cleared. Now, I'm going to do a whole nother video on like different ways to clear debt and different debt clearing methods, but yeah, it's a good time at the start of the year to evaluate the whole thing and figure out where you're actually at. And that brings us on to the next bit about updating your net worth. Oh, net worth. I meant net worth. My neck is worth a lot of money, darlings. Yeah, about your net worth. So I like to keep a track of it. It's essentially the value of the assets that you own minus any debt that you owe. And as you build wealth, saving, investing in property, stocks, etc., the aim is that your net worth would increase over time. So the start of the year is a great time to update it, and if you don't keep track of it, it's the perfect time to start. Now we move on to budgeting. So when you think about budgets, you usually think about like a weekly or monthly budget, having a look at what you're going to spend between each paycheck, basically. Unless, of course, you're freelance and money comes in at all different points. But essentially that track of bills coming out, monthly spending. But it's really great to create a yearly budget. So if you can work out whether you're on a salary and you know your income for the year, or whether you're freelance, self-employed, and you could estimate maybe how much you're going to make over the course of a year, it's a great way to see this overview and to go roughly each month, this is what's going to happen, and you can start to track how much you could save, invest, and you can forecast or pre-plan financial goals and investments and stuff like that. So I love creating a budget for the year, and I am going to be releasing a yearly budget planner tracker, which will help you do the same. So keep your eyes peeled. Finally, I think the sort of last few bits are having a think about if you have an emergency fund. Now, an emergency fund is good for so many things, emergencies specifically, but it's about putting money aside every single month to build up this pot of cash that you have readily available to you in case something happens to your income. And I think that the last few years, because of COVID, have shown us that nothing is, you know, our incomes aren't as secure as we might have thought, and that having money stashed away for emergencies, such as a global pandemic, is really important. Now, if you have your emergency fund sorted, sweet. If you don't, the way you can work it out is by figuring out roughly how much living costs are for about 6 months. Now, living costs are literally rent, food, travel, the necessities. It's not your gym, your Netflix, your magazine subscriptions. It's basic necessities times by 6 for 6 months, and that would be your emergency fund target goal that you want to work towards. And then you can factor that amount into your budget on a monthly basis so that you can start saving towards it. I haven't done my annual review for 2021 yet. It's on my list to do within the next few weeks. And yeah, I'm quite excited. Hopefully that covers everything within the annual review and plan for 2022. So, top line overview. First of all, give yourselves a clap for making it through to this year. Second, you want to review what went well last year and what didn't, and then ask yourselves why. so that you can use that information to do better this year. Thirdly, you want to ask yourself, did you reach your financial goals? If you did, well done. If you didn't, no problem, there's this year. And if you never made any, now is the perfect time to start. Number 4, create goals for 2022. So have a think about what it is that you're working towards, what are you saving for, what are you investing for, what do you need to learn, what new habits you need to bring into your life, whatever works for you. Number 5, evaluate your debts, and if you have any, create yourself a debt management plan for 2022 and potentially onwards, and then update your net worth tracker. And then number 6, create a yearly budget for 2022 and factor into that emergency fund money and forecast for the future. Yeah, that is it. Now I say that is it. I appreciate that probably sounds like quite a lot, seeing as this is a however long minute video talking about how to do a review and how to plan. But it is the kind of thing is, if you work the amount of hours that you work and as hard as you work to earn money, putting aside a day or a couple of hours within your week to sit and do the review and to sit and plan for the future is so important. And you may not find it the funnest thing or the best thing, but find a way to have some fun with it. Like, I'm gonna talk about at some point money dates and how I have a money date with myself, and it's like, make it work for you. Get all cozy, get in your PJs, have a little tea. I would say have a wine, but you never know then what's gonna happen once you've had a cheeky little wine. And find a way to get motivated by it, whether that is creating goals that make you feel so excited, or, you know, you treat yourself for killing it last year with your finances.
Treat yourself. Fine leather goods. Treat yourself.
Or you treat yourself because you paid off X amount of debt. Obviously don't go crazy treating yourself and undo all the work that you did, but like, find a way to make it fun, because when you can do that and you can get motivated by it and actually enjoy doing a review, looking at your finances, it's only going to help you in the long run. So well done for making it to 2022. Let's have a good year.